Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to Bipolar Boxing. Friday night, live on Netflix. We got Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson. I'm gonna approach this fight like it's not fixed, and what were to happen if these guys are really fighting each other. That's just the way I gotta go into it. I go into that with all of Jake Paul's fights, even though I do believe some of them were fixed. But I don't want to touch on that. I just want to go at it as if there's not something going on behind the scenes, this is what I think is going to happen. So, I mean, Jake Paul, like, since he's been fighting, he's been a fucking ATM for me. I've gotten every single one of his fights right. Like, going back to I think it was the Anderson Gibb fight was his first fight. It might have been an exhibition, but that was his first fight where they got in there. Cause they might have been wearing headgear in that fight. But even in that fight, like, he was only like 3 or 4 to 1, I think. And he comes out, he annihilates that guy, and then he fights fucking Nate Robinson. And even against Nate Robinson, he wasn't more than a 6 to 1 favorite, I don't think. I think I might have got him at like 550 or something. Like, it's free money. And then you go into Tyron Woodley and you get even lower odds. It's like the guy's just going to keep on winning. And then when he stepped up against Tommy Fury, I was just like, dude, Jake, yeah, you're winning all these fights, but you're getting first round knockouts. And for a guy with no amateur experience, you shouldn't be knocking these guys out in the first round. Like, you're not learning anything in the ring. You're not learning how to defend yourself properly. So when I went up against Tommy Fury, I'm like, at least Tommy Fury's got some of that. He's probably not taking the sport as seriously as Jake Paul is, which is sad to say. But but he's just got more. He's just been doing it for a longer period of time, and he's just used to being in the ring, and he knows how to get through. I think that might have been a 10 round fight, but whatever it is, like, he knows how to survive longer in there, and he knows how to defend himself in there. And Jake got a little gun shy throughout that whole fight. Why? Because there's a real boxer standing in front of you who's not going to fall into that stupid right hand of yours. So, then Tommy Fury. But then after that, like, after he loses, he's going to take easy fights. And the guy's not going to lose again, because if he lost again, it all goes downhill from there. So, he fights Woodley in the rematch. Like, obviously he's going to win that fight. Like, guys, just hop on this fucking bandwagon. This fight's a little different, though. It's fucking Mike Tyson. And it's obviously not the Tyson of the 80s and early 90s and stuff like that, but it is still Mike Tyson. And the things that I said about Tommy Fury, being in the ring, knowing how to defend yourself, knowing how to do stuff like cut off the ring. None of those guys you fought know how to do that except for Tommy Fury. So, I mean, going in with that, then you just got to look at the age factor of Tyson. Like, and I know everybody's talking about it, and they should, because it's the wild card in this fight. And that's the thing. Like, you don't know how Tyson's going to show up. You don't know how his body's going to hold up. I don't think he knows how his body's going to hold up. And if he does, and he knows he's in bad shape, like I heard reports of him taking, he had to take oxygen after his open workout, yesterday. So, we've seen him in a wheelchair within the last, like, couple of months. He's walking around with a fucking walking stick in one of the Saudi Arabia fights. Like, it's not good signs. So, I mean, my prediction in this fight is going to be, I don't think Tyson's body holds up. If he can go in there and, I don't know what's going to happen, because, like, if Tyson goes in there in the first round, 2 rounds, and backs Jake Paul up and goes in with his, his high guard and peekaboo style, he will chase Jake Paul down and he will catch him a few times. The other problem is, like, the stupid rules for this fight. First of all, it's 2 minute rounds. That means Tyson doesn't have a lot of time to get to him to set himself up. And if he catches Paul clean, Paul is going to be holding a lot this fight. If Tyson comes in with that style, Jake Paul will hold. And if there's a prop bet out there on whether or not Jake Paul would get deducted a point, like, I might fire that at, like, a plus 1,500 or something like that. Because I think he's going to be doing a lot of that, especially early. He's going to try and wear Tyson down as much as he can. because I don't think Tyson will be fighting off the back foot. He's going to be off his front foot, and it's not as tiring to fight that way. But when you're fighting on your front foot, you're going to have to throw more than you'd want to. Because Tyson, I mean, if he wants to, I mean, he could just stand there and not waste a lot of energy and make Jake Paul come to him. That might not be a bad route to go because, I mean, Jake Paul, I think he's going to be terrified if he tries to chase down Mike Tyson. But I mean, we'll see. I mean, my whole thing is here, like, I don't think Tyson's body is going to hold up, and I don't think he's going to be able to knock Jake Paul out with those 14-ounce gloves that they have on. I know it's still Mike Tyson, and it's going to have to be that he's just going to have to go all in the first couple of rounds, and maybe he can knock him out. But I'm just worried he's going to come in, and even if he clips Paul, Paul's just going to hold him, or he's going to take the knockdown and then just keep holding and get into the fourth, fifth round. And then I think Tyson is just going to be gassed. And then it's just whether or not he can survive the rest of the fight. But I think he does. I think Jake Paul just wins this thing by decision. I know it's not a popular pick because everyone's just picking either Paul or Tyson by knockout. The one thing I can guarantee in this fight is when it's over, everybody and their brother is going to be like, dude, you knew that was going to happen. If Paul goes out there and knocks him out early, no one's going to like him for that, first of all. But, like, we're all going to be like, yeah, what'd you think was going to happen? Tyson's 58 years old. If Tyson goes in there round one and knocks out Jake Paul, we're all going to be like, yeah, what the fuck do you think was going to happen? He's a fucking 27-year-old YouTuber who picked up a pair of gloves 4 or 5 years ago for the first time. You know, but, yeah, I just think Jake Paul, by decision, Now, the thing is, when you're betting this fight, make sure you bet it, and I hope you guys know what I'm talking about, but make sure you do it on a two-way action. Don't do a three-way action. If you do, hedge it with a draw. I know the draw is very low in this. It's only like plus 800, but I would take the draw and hedge whatever you do. If you're doing three-way betting, whatever you pick, hedge it with the draw. But I just like doing two-way betting. That way, if there's a draw, I just get my money back, and it's like the fight never happened. But yeah, do two-way betting on this if you're betting. Three-way betting, make sure you throw a little bit on the draw. It's not don't have to throw a lot on it, but throw something on there to at least get your money back if it's a draw. But yeah, I mean, I know this is a circus, but there is a great undercard. There's a lot of great fighters fighting on this undercard. I mean, you got Katie Taylor versus Amanda Serrano in the co-main event. Their first fight was awesome. They're my favorite two females of all time, maybe. I mean, you could say like Lucia Riker, Christy Martin, Layla Ali. Like, I was there for Layla Ali versus Jackie Frazier. Frazier Ali 4, we called it. And so Layla Ali might be the best ever, but other than that, like, these are the two best girls ever, and they're fighting each other. They're at somewhat the same weight class. I just think for that fight, like, I think Katie Taylor's too big for her, and I thought she won the first fight decisively, and I think she just wins this one even more. But this is I don't think either one of them fight again after this fight. There's no reason to. They're going to make plenty of money. They've won all the titles that they could possibly win. I mean, Taylor, maybe she has that rubber match with Chantel Cameron, but there's no reason to do that. Just have this fight, and maybe if Serrano wins, you can get a rubber match there. But I mean, Shushu Carrington's on the undercard. Lucas Baghdadi, Mario Barrios, and Abel Ramos. Like, these are solid fights. These are solid fights that, I mean, Katie Taylor and Serrano should be headlining a pay-per-view somewhere. Just because I don't like that women's boxing doesn't get a lot of respect nowadays. But Franchon Cruz is fighting on this undercard. Like, Shadisha Green, sorry. But yeah, it's gonna be a good card, and just watch it. If you're a boxing fan, at least watch the undercard. And I mean, it's gonna be on Netflix. Everyone's got Netflix. If not, sign up for that. Free trial membership. If not, just pay the $6.99 or whatever it is a month, and just get it for this month, and then just cancel it. But let me know who you guys think's gonna win. Let me know if you think this fight is fixed, because I think that could go on. Like I said, I'm just not going at it like that because I don't want to sit there and be like, well, if they're fixing it, who are they fixing it for? I mean, to be honest, I'm sure they would fix it for Jake Paul, which is another reason why if you're betting Jake Paul just to win the fight, like, yeah, if they're fixing it, it's gonna be in his favor. Like that's a huge edge right there. So this line, I think you're getting good value on Jake Paul minus. It keeps going down. When this fight first got announced, it was a minus almost like 400, 375 or something like that, down to like minus 250. And I think I'm going to wait to take Jake Paul because I think the odds are going to go even lower. All the public that's going to be out in Texas, in Vegas betting this fight, there's going to be a lot of goofballs out there that are like, dude, we're watching the fight. I got to get a bet in. Let's go for Mike Tyson. Like, we're not sitting there rooting for Jake Paul, so let me just throw some money on Mike Tyson. I think that's going to happen a lot the closer it gets to the fight. But, yeah, I mean, I'm excited for this fight. I'm one of the few, I consider myself a hardcore boxing fan, and I'm excited for this fight just because of the simple fact that I don't know what the fuck's going to happen. I sit there, I watch 20 plus fights a week, and at least 19 of them, I know what's going to happen. Unless something fluke happens, I know what's going to happen. Like, there's other really good fights this weekend, and, like, I'm very interested to see William Zepeda, but, like, he's fighting fucking Tevin Farmer. You guys tell me, like, you know what's going to happen in the Tyson fight, but you don't know what's going to happen in this fight? No, it's the other way around. But one's considered real boxing and the other one isn't. But we know what's going to happen in the one that's a real boxing fight. So I still consider this a somewhat real fight. Like I said, unless there's something going on, some Finoke shit going on behind the scenes where they'll rob us fans of seeing, what could actually happen here. But I'm excited for this fight. Let me know what your guys' thoughts. Let me know who you guys think's going to win. And let me know where you think each fighter goes from here, because I've been hearing stories about Jake Paul. Like, there's a line for him getting like a WBC belt. There's somebody who's just outside of the rankings who they're trying to get into the top 15 rankings, and then have Jake Paul fight him, and then possibly once he gets ranked, they'll have I think it was Rozeki who has the belt, and it might not be the WBC, whatever it is, but it was Rozeki is the end line for Paul's plan. This is just something random thing that I read, but it'd be interesting because, I mean, guys, like, the route is there. Like, if Jake Paul wants to get a title fight within the next, like, 2-3 years, he could do it. Like, I hate to say it, but this guy could do it. And, it just is what it is. Like, I don't see this as, like, I just see this as, like, a little side thing in our sport. Like, the one thing I say about Jake Paul is, like, guys, they're not tuning in to see Jake Paul and Mike Tyson play tennis, play darts, play a game of one-on-one basketball, play a game of home run derby or something like that. They're paying to see them box. So, like, purists of our sport should at least look at it and say, Jake's getting eyes on our sport. They're only watching this because it's our sport. They wouldn't be watching it if they were doing any other sport. So I see that as a positive thing for boxing. But like I said, it just is what it is. Just watch it, enjoy. Don't throw a lot of money on this fight. But if you do, like I said, I'm just going Jake Paul by decision. Have a good night.